Um, licensed at the fair dealer, which means that sell fire motors as well. Build gunsmith, and I mainly teach on education and safety purposes for firearms, especially for the youth.
They're busy working. All right, and up next we have Mr. Hager.
Hello, Boeing, specifically Boeing Defense Systems here in the St. Louis area. My across the country, I have about 16 sites that I work with in production system training with Boeing. Boeing is a aerospace company. We actually put products in the ocean, stuff in space, Artemis rocket. A couple weeks ago, that's us. And then everything on land and in the skies in between. Specifically here in St. Louis, it's fighter jets. So every 15 F-18 in the world, right here, 10 minutes down the road. I know that surprises a lot of you, but historically, this is McDonnell aircraft, McDonnell Douglas, with Boeing. We have locations in 26 different states, and we do have a pathway to get you in again with very little experience. Know how to work with your hands at all, and pretty much take it from there.
Right, wonderful. Well, again, so happy to have everyone here.
And now I see him. It's the boy.
All right, so you'll be hearing from our Vice President here shortly once he gets all signed up.
Many of you have seen this gentleman before on campus, standing, walking around. So in a few minutes, everybody's coming on board. No, you see Kim, and then we're gonna unmute Kim. Can't hear you yet, Mr. Salmon. Give us a second. Little technical difficulties here, we'll get this going. Well, but maybe you recognize this guy, right? I mean, it's seen him. They're trying to get. Hey, you hear us now, Mr. Salmon? Thank you. That's How about now, Mr. Salmon? No, it's just the volume. Wait. Mr. Salmon, try now for me. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can always hear you guys, but it doesn't think you guys can hear me.
All right, so we're gonna put your picture back up. I have you on phone so that students can hear you.
Okay.
You're live, so they can hear you. I would say good morning, Mr. Hannah. Culinary coming in looking good, Mr. Sanders. All right, so, all right, let's get started. All right, you can't see them, but you can hear them. Ladies, if we can get started. Mr. Salmon, we're ready now. Good morning and welcome to our apprenticeship week. I'm gonna let you, talk and get your picks back in. See you, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We are very excited for the apprenticeship week at the St. Louis Center. One of the things that why we're so excited is that Distinction is not just an employer. We are an approved registered apprenticeship program in 3 areas. We have in the great state of Missouri, we are an approved registered apprenticeship. We are also approved in the state of Kentucky and in the state of Tennessee. What does that mean? That means that we can hire individuals for related training, to be a related training provider. We can hire individuals, and we also could be an apprenticeship sponsor. I know that there is a lot of employees that are in the room, and that is essential for the growth of our students, because as we are working through apprenticeship, we will be attached to an employer for 2 years, increasing their salary and increasing their wages over the length of the time of the apprenticeship. So the students that are listening here today, this is a monumental moment for all of you, and I'm hoping that you take this
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Jeter. We'll give them a little bit more in-depth information about what that means, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
All right, so now we're gonna have some fun with our panelists. So it's gonna be round table panelists. I'm asking you to take a question, and if you could just explain based off of what I'm asking. All right, so right here, what was your first day in your apprenticeship like? We'll start with yes, you start.
So what was my first day?
In your apprenticeship.
That's a good one. So with me, it's been different. I actually left America at 13 years old. I moved to another country where it wasn't my choice. My mother moved to Israel. We ended up moving to Israel with my parents. So I would like to say my apprenticeship life started when I came back to America, because that's when I was in the grid. That's when I had to network and partner with other organizations to become even an eligible apprentice, because first you gotta find out what you wanna do, and then you focus on that goal. So my apprentice life started here. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I volunteered for every non-for-profit that I could, specifically the trades, because I felt like if I couldn't get a job, at least I could have a trade that I could take anywhere in the world and survive. And from culinary arts, I owned a restaurant. From that, I ended up now I'm a broker in real estate. But it was challenging. I had to focus. I had to really hone in on what I wanted to do. And I had to cut off any distraction in my life. So for me, again, it was challenging, but now I am doing everything that I love to do from finding my apprenticeship at the beginning. So did I answer your question?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's switch up a little bit. So for Chef Nicole, how is apprenticeship training in the kitchen compared to culinary school?
Apprenticeship training in the kitchen is much better than culinary school. So just to bring it home, when you if you have ever had people in school do your hair, your mother do your hair, your grandmother do your hair, you seem like they did a better job before they went to school. It's the same way. In the culinary school, they're going to teach you the science of baking, how the chemicals work together. But in the kitchen, it's hands-on. You see it, taste it, touch it, feel it, and smell it.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Ross. What opportunities exist for advancement after completing an apprenticeship?
So for us, as far as carpentry goes, the opportunities for advancement once you finish your apprenticeship is climbing the ladder. You could be a crew leader, which we call foreman. Then you can end up being a superintendent who actually runs the job site and manages all the other trades on that job site from start to finish. That can come with a pay increase, company truck, a lot of different things that will offset your income and put you in a different bracket. Also, if you want, you can move into the office and learn how to crunch the numbers as the estimator and just figure the job out before the job gets started and make corporate decisions instead of just on the job site decisions. So with that, I can piggyback on him. He's an entrepreneur. With the carpentry, you can learn how to build your own house, live in it. You could fix up properties, rent them out. All of that under our umbrella, you'll learn how to manage, run jobs, and be your own person, your own boss. Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, home repairs are not cheap.
No.
Can you teach me? All right, Ms. Townsend, how do teamwork and communication impact success on job sites?
Absolutely. Teamwork is very, very big. Matter of fact, you see it on our uniform. That's the first word you see. Being able to work in an environment where we all have the same goal, is necessary in order to complete the job or to complete the task. Communication, I can tell you, when I started, I went and got hired with a Polish company where I was the only person that spoke fluent English. So I had to learn to find ways to communicate with people that spoke Polish or broken English. So finding other ways of communication, whether it's verbal, whether it's written, sign language, or gestures, all those things are necessary in certain environments. As far as also developing in-person communication skills to be able to communicate with different people from walks of life to do the job. So it's very important. It's very vital that we work on those skills as far as learning how to communicate.
Yeah, I was wondering if I'm curious if you have your answer that question, John. How do teamwork communication impact success on job sites?
So teamwork is critical to anything, really, any relationship or family. But on the construction side, it's very crucial. We all have to work together. We all have to do things in the right order. If you don't do things in the right order, you're not going to get a good product in the end. So it is vitally important. So it's good to learn that. We discuss all that stuff through the apprenticeship program. And you guys are getting all this stuff. I talked to some of Mr. Thompson's painter students this morning, and you guys have the valuable lingo, the skills already coming in. The first question was, what was your first day like? My first day was confusing. I didn't know anything about the trades, and you guys are getting that valuable language skill that you need for trade speak, which is different than the normal language. So you guys have such an advantage here with OSHA 10, CPR first aid. It's just it's great, and we're really happy to work with you and be that next step when you move on. So I'll pass this on.
All right, wonderful. Well, communication too, right? Communication on the job site. All right, Mr. Harris, how has technology changed your trade? How has technology changed your trade?
First thing about it is technology. They're trying to do away with us of being on the job. What they'll do is create a machine that will hang drywall. That's taking work from us. Technology is helpful as well as hurts. So whenever we're on the job, and you know the job needs to be done, that time, put your car down, put your boots on, and rock and roll. That's what you're gonna need to do in order to stay busy.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, where are my security students? Where are my security students? There you guys are. All right, Mr. Bailey, can you introduce yourself again? Our students weren't in here waiting. You introduced.
My name is Teron Bailey. I am the owner of ASA Public Safety LLC in training. I actually have one of the Job Corps students that's an intern. That's working for me right about now, trying to gain some experience. I'm not gonna put her name on blast, but she knows who she is, and I also do firearms training and education on safety and license FFL dealer, gunsmithing, basically anything that kind of goes along with law enforcement and most likely marksman.
Thank you so much. So if you want a job security student, talk to him. Okay? But my question for you is, what are the most in-demand skills for the security trade? What are the most in-demand skills for the security trade?
To answer that question is more so being attentive to your surroundings, because anything can happen at any given moment at any given time. It's basically just being aware of where you're at, the type of situation that you're in. What I learned was is how you do one thing is how you do everything. I'm still kind of pretty scratching the surface. I can guarantee you I'm probably the youngest person that's sitting at these tables. But it definitely probably took a lot to get to where I'm at right about now. But as far as in the security field, you really just have to be aware of your surroundings and who's kind of sitting next to you or people that's walking in and out of the door. It's basically just being aware, because you can get hurt on the job if you're not paying attention to what's going on and being attentive.
Absolutely. Are you calling them old?
Yes, that's what I felt like, hey.
I don't mean no disrespect. I'm calling you assholes, but I'm just kind of sort of speaking the facts. I heard 20 years, 30 years, 15 years. I know I have a backstory to how I got to where I'm at now. It's kind of like it's a family business. When I first turned 21, I walked away for 10 years. And then I came back and I had to work my way back up. So that's what I mean by when I was scratching the surface. I had somebody in my ear, I couldn't understand what they were saying. But now that I got a little bit older, I'm listening more and I'm feeling the vibe, what's going on in the business world. So that's what I kind of mean.
I gotcha. Did you hear him? Listen more. Let's practice that. Hello? All right, Mr. Haggard. What are the biggest misconceptions about careers in trade?
So I can definitely speak to misconceptions in the trade. So when I was most of your age, up in the 80s and 90s, the only message out there was you have to get a degree to be successful and do all that. I was never one that was a huge fan of school. I was an athlete, so I went to school to play sports. I only cared about grades to keep them up so I could play sports. I went to college to play sports, but it just wasn't my thing at that time in my life. So I was not trying as hard as I could have growing up. My journey, I wasn't as lucky as a lot of you are today with these apprenticeships that are around. My apprenticeships, yellow footprints in Marine Corps boot camp, and that's how I got into aviation. And then I kind of progressed into it. And when I got out and I started seeing the modern jobs, um, these aren't factory jobs. These aren't construction jobs like they were, 30, 40, 50. You're not seeing people, going home covered in soot, developing black lung over time, making, pennies compared to, your blue collar workers. In fact, I would say most trades that you go through in a fraction of the amount of time, you're going to earn more money than your typical college graduate. There are a lot of room for advancements. The job sites are all safer regardless of what position you're in. And you get to do something when you go for the day. You accomplish something that you can be proud of. But not everybody can say that when they're out there working in the business world for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So our next question is going to touch a little bit on financial stability. Who wants financial stability? That's it? No, make money? Ah, all right, there we go. How, you want my team? All right, how do you do that? Hello, yes. You're going to get penetrated, right? You're going to sacrifice this time and get penetrated, being successful. Just look at these individuals up here, these professionals up here. Success. All right, Miss Townsend. How do apprenticeships prepare individuals for long-term financial stability?
So with the bricklayers, I can talk about our we have and each local is different as far as what the benefits package is. So I know for us, where I am, our package is, I believe, like $108 an hour. So we receive on our check as a journey person, and they start out at like 50 something bucks now. I can't give you the exact. So on the check, you're gonna get a nice amount of money that you can save. Your pension, you'll get pension money, you'll get money towards the pension. You also have an annuity. Some of us have vacation fund. So they pay, the employer pays into these different benefits. So you basically would have a savings account that you don't put money into except your hours of work. Also, there's classes that I know we teach as far as financial stability and how to invest your money, how to save your money. For me, I just, don't get me wrong, when I first started out, a lot of us have done it. We're making so much money, we don't know what to do with it. So sometimes we go and buy big expensive dually trucks and Jaguars or whatever. But what it is good to do is that we try to invest in something that is going to generate money. A lot of times, what our biggest investments is usually our homes. So investing in homes, investing in property. Our jobs allow us to do those things. That's pretty much it. But definitely know you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck if you're monitoring your spending well. And I just tell the students, hey, if you were able to live comfortably off of $15 an hour, and now you're making $35 an hour, try to continue to act like you're living comfortably off those $15 an hour and just save up and develop your nest egg and start investing in, like you can invest in stocks, cryptocurrency. I tell my students I do day trading, so they've seen me do some of that. So there's always other ways of investing in money that you earn to help generate more income.
Thank you so much. Did you do your homework with hours for today? 100 and Palmer was students. What's the minimum wage in Missouri? 15, yeah. So what's better? 15, 15? I know the answer to that. All right, we're on, Mr. Ross. So this is some advice to our students. So listen up. What are the big, I'm sorry, that was someone. What would you tell your younger self before starting your internship, your apprenticeship?
What would I tell myself? There's a lot. I would say, like always, listen to the older generations. We've been there, now I'm older, been there, done it. There's a lot of things that you'll run into along the way, family, situations, circumstances, financial issues. Just be vigilant. Don't quit. Stay focused on your path. Write something down. Give yourself a 5-year goal. Give yourself a 10-year goal. Just try to figure out what do you want out of life. And separate yourself from people who are not going to be positive towards you. I'm from Kansas City. I moved here when I was 19. I had friends that did things back in the day. I didn't do it, but regardless of that, I got here, got into school, got into the trade, and everybody around me is on a positive track. You have to learn how to separate yourself from those who don't want things that you want for yourself.
If those that are around you that you associate yourself with are not aiding to your success, should they be in your life? All right, thank you, just make sure. All right, Chef Nicole, what habits or attitudes help you succeed?
Habits or attitudes? I'm gonna say goal setting, deciding what I wanted for my life, for my business. To Mr. Bailey's end, I'm gonna say that I am now 53, and I like you. I really like your personality. But being a mother, a single mother, and a grandmother, and needing to buy a house, needing to build a house, setting goals for myself and what I wanted to show my children was the main thing. Getting to the 6 figures was hard, is hard, but I deserve it. And kind of knowing what I'm worth is what keeps me going to work every day.
Keep that in mind when you're having a bad day, right? Because you're the only one that can control how you shift your attitude, right?
Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
I like what she said, keep it in mind when you're having a bad day, because when you are creative, and I keep looking at you because you like just being a carpenter, but you're gonna run into situations where you are gonna be discriminated against for being a woman, for being Black, for being young. All of those things are going to happen. Being a creative in this field, there is no book that says you do it this way. And having to learn how to do it and stay true to it is difficult, and it's more hard days than good days, but I own my time. So when you talked about learning how to invest, I got this one piece of advice for when you start making money. And that's let the one thing, being carpentry or whatever you do, be the main thing for the rest of the things. And then you start taking a little bit by a little bit. I made $200 today, but I'm getting ready to invest 10% of that. When you do that, you kind of learn the value of 1, owning your own time, 2, setting the goals, and 3, knowing your value.
Thank you, amen. So ladies, you know what my favorite thing to do is? Prove them wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is going on? What question, please, sir? Best meal. On your listen.
Best meal I've ever created, believe it or not. I'm a vegan, so all my vegan are amazing. But I have a son who is 16, he's not a vegan. I made some salmon fish for him for the first time. I was told that was the best. I never tasted it, but I was told it was the best. And I was vegan, so I cooked vegan options.
Mr. Boone, why don't you come back here? I'd like to introduce Mr. Boone to you all. Once.
Good morning, everyone. And give you guys a round of applause for just even showing up today. I'm Terminal Boone. I'm in Cisco Foods. I'm in contract sales for Cisco Foods. I'm an entrepreneur in St. Louis. I've been in St. Louis area all my life. I grew up in the Walnut Park area. Now I live in the Illinois area. But I'm always a big fan favorite of my home, you know, where I grew up at and the people that I lived around. So,
All right, so Mr. Boone, give him a round of applause. How can someone stand out when applying for an apprenticeship program?
it's about attitude at that point. I think it's about how you speak, how you present yourself. You know, again, from you know, I say a multicultural background, predominantly African American on that side of it. Like we're loud, you know, we have a large presence. We show up in the room great and beautiful. But I think those attributes, you take them and you use them. You use them in the corporate setting. So I give you, for instance, in the attitude of my company. So Cisco is a large Fortune 500 company in the St. Louis area in my corporate office. Minority 593 out of 400 employees. But, you know, you take, for instance, showing up in an environment like that for you guys, you take it for instance, when I showed up with this big attitude, you know, this dark color and this restaurant industry that we service is predominantly a large market with these corporate clients. But you fast forward now from that standpoint with this large attitude, show up with this, you know, confidence to myself that, hey, I can be here with anybody else. It put me #1 in the country in sales and #1 in my region in sales. We talking about that's a big deal in the ratings of millions of employees from all over the U.S. and service the U.S. So any restaurants, you know, hotels you have stayed at, you name it, we service and typically predominantly service the food for those locations. But, you know, to go back to the question, you know, I think again, just be present, you know, show up with who you are and that's who you can be, but adjust it all the time in different environments, but don't be afraid of being yourself.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to put someone on the spot real quick. Hey, Ms. Pruitt. Who knows Ms. Pruitt? Who knows Ms. Pruitt? You guys better. She's our most amazing, best pharmacist. Hello. So, Ms. Pruitt, what challenges have you faced in a traditionally male-dominated field? I really don't think it's a challenge. If it's for technicians, leads, and those who just exist the females, it's about being attentive and attention, knowing what you're doing, and ask questions when you're in the system. Any questions? All right, I'm going to ask the same question to Ms. Thompson. All right. What challenges have you faced in a traditionally male-dominated field?
Always having to prove yourself. You gotta work 10 times harder than the men. Literally, prime example, I worked for a company for 10 years, went up through the ranks, didn't become a foreman, wound up going to become a safety supervisor. I would go to certain job sites where I'm walking and correcting employees that work for the company about safety, not smoking on the job, and everything. Like, who is she? Who is she? Are you an apprentice? And I'm 8, 9 years in. Why are you still asking me am I an apprentice? I need to just do as I ask. So it's always a matter of having to prove yourself. Study when everybody else is asleep. I'm awake. When everybody else is sitting down, I'm up. I'm training. I'm practicing. I'm watching. I'm being observant. So you, as a woman in our industry, you kind of always gotta stay a step ahead, but also you do have male allies in our industry because if it wasn't for them, I would not be. I can tell you I'm a first in a lot of things for our industry. For our organization, it's Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers. That's been an organization for over 150 years. In order for me to have broken those glass ceilings, I had to have some male allies that would talk in the rooms talking about me and watching me. So what I always tell everybody is you never know who's watching you. You never know who's listening to you. And always make sure you set the best example that you can. And the rest of it, it'll work itself out.
All right, thank you so much. I'll come back over here. Where do you see your industry heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, first of all, I don't think we're going anywhere. There's not a lot of machine places. I don't see any time in the future. We're going to speak more about there's huge investment in the St. Louis area. It's a great time to be in the pipeline for these jobs. So I see nothing but a bright future. And speaking about our trade, anybody can do this. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you look like. We have a big participation in our trade, always has been. We have over 450 persons in our apprenticeship, 30% of those are ladies. So it doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from, what your past is. If you want to do it, you try hard. You can't be successful in anything you try hard. But in our trade particularly, for sure.
As long as you try, right? You give your best effort. All right, so can you answer the same question? Where do you see your industry heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
Like John just said earlier, in the city of St. Louis, in St. Louis County, Chesterfield, we have minority participation that we push for get ladies with jobs, minority African American, Asian. So in our future, we're going to do extremely well because we have more bring more women in, bring more people in to keep working. And what we do in the long run is we make bigger money. Everybody start $35 an hour for you, $40 an hour. But to work hard, to earn your feet, your attitude determines your aptitude. Believe it. If you got a positive mindset and you're not worried about what John's doing, if you continue to work hard, you say work.
Thank you. I keep hearing positive attitude. Positive attitude. That's what's going to get you somewhere. Okay. All right, Mr. Bailey, what new opportunities are emerging in your field? What new opportunities are emerging in your field?
The new opportunity kind of emerging is basically being, escort sports celebrities that come into town. Kind of going toe to toe with figuring out where you want to be. Like they said, attitude is a big part. I used to be a very confrontational person. First impression is everything. So how you come off is how someone is going to perceive you. So then, especially when you want to way up to elevation, some people you just can't take along the way. Just like my brother said over here, some people are not meant to ride the long ride with you. Some friends fall off, even family. But as far as security side, there's always a need for protection. There's always a need for something to be watched. And like I said before, it's starting to be a more hit on when celebrities come in town. that request for a certain look and a certain tactical form. And that's kind of what they lean towards. And you can really imagine the financial things that's behind that.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to pause before we start getting into our closing questions, which I would appreciate each of you to answer. Students, do you have questions for these professionals? Or I'm going to start calling on you. John? Keep your hands up. Gotcha. You guys share your name and your name.
My name is Mario. Over there, sir. I have a question for y'all. I have a question for you. These are when I walk into your careers, you don't love your careers right off the bat. You don't have to have time to I just look at that. When I got into the ministry, because but when I work for Friday, the thing to me, so I would go to the bar. When you work you're gonna
I will say that I have baked, you know how people always say she was born with it? I have baked since I was 3 years old, alone, my parents tell me. When I started doing it as a business, now when I baked it as a hobby, I absolutely loved it. When I started doing it as a business, I hated it because there's a very big difference between a bakery and a baker. And so I have learned how to fall in and out of love with this industry over and over again. So there's no right answer. If I gotta do payroll today, I'm mad, I hate it. But if I can just bake today, I love it. But if I gotta deal with Black Facebook being mad at me because I took a chance that a lot of people don't take, I absolutely hate it. I just see the rewards when people start coming.
So, again, I'm gonna say this to you. Good to see you again. So with me, every career I'm passionate about now, I hated it. I actually, my ex-girlfriend, year after year would convince me to get into real estate, and I would tell her, no, it's not for me. On the restaurant, I got into it and I was homeless. Here in St. Louis, I slept in the park with my son in the car. I was looking for work. I went to a restaurant. She hired me, and I became the owner of the restaurant. So every career I went into, I was there because I just showed up. And I had the attitude I was going to succeed. But from real estate, culinary, to even on the bed and breakfast, all came because I was in the right place at the right time with the right mindset. And now I love it. I love it.
I would say for me, it was different. Again, piggybacking on some people, I didn't know what I was doing. But what I will say is I had mentors, and they're the ones that carried me through, made me stronger and better because they believed in me more than I believed in myself.
And if I can add this also is, you have to let go of your fear. I had a bunch of fear in me on where I felt like I should be or want to go. But the minute I let go of my fear and the minute I allow others to enjoy what I present, then I took hold of it because to see others appreciate something that you do, it just made me feel good, and that's what I was drawn to. But I had to let go of the fear of if I can even do it.
And I love that. I don't have the fear, but
I got a comment on what you said here. If you don't have nobody in your circle like that, how do you push forward to, you know, to have that motivation? If you don't have that person, that mentor, that person to be that motivation for you,
So,
to help you.
so networking is key to any industrial growth, any life lesson. Find somebody outside yourself. You got these people here, that's the traders, So network, exchange numbers, find groups, go to places where you have a common interest, and just be involved. Step outside the box, like you said. Have no fear. Be confident.
But you said, why do you trust people? The thing is, that's your feeling about the person. You don't know the person if they're going to do you right or wrong. And you can't let one person dictate how you treat everybody else. So you have to go in the room. I go in the room expecting that everybody here has potential, has a story, and how can I learn from it? And I don't look at it as, I don't trust you, you acting wrong. You will never succeed on that. You will never succeed.
So let me say I don't, because I'm a baker and baking is sweet, right? So you're a sweet person. When you feed people, you have to have a certain spirit to be able to feed people.
Yes.
And there are people who will attack you. I heard you kind of whisper, I don't trust people. You don't necessarily have to trust them. All you have to do is trust the gift that's in you.
Right.
And work that.
All right, thank you. So we got some questions from our painting students.
Hi, my name is Margaret, and today my question for y'all. Is, what's your biggest challenge in staying focused along your dream and trying to have a career and not losing motivation?
As a young son,
It was girls, it was cars, it was just wanting to be outside, money. It was everything that I wanted in life was a distraction. The key is you have to have discipline. People look at that as a challenge, but that's your own personal, you gotta deal with that yourself. Get some mentors, books, read, and at the same time, focus on your skill. Like, focus on it. The same way you focus on getting that girl, or getting that car, or getting that money, put that in your skill, and you'll get everything that you want.
Appreciate it. I can piggyback off what he said. As far as the success thing, as the money comes in, you feel like that you can do more, you want to do more, you want to be outside, you want to hang with the in crowd. For me, it was hard for me to separate myself from the people that I used to hang around. And this is what I mean by 7 days a week from sun up to sundown. And as the money is coming in and it's coming in fast, it's making me want to just enjoy it more. But I had to separate myself to get to another level than where I was before. So, being on a path to success is never easy. It's hard. It's always something that's gonna try to pull you to the left when you try to stay on the straight and narrow, or something that's gonna always try to pull you to the right. But it's really up to you to make that right decision. But if this is what you want to do, this is where your heart is at, and you have to put your all into it. So what I'm really trying to say is that I have to separate the good from the bad. The fun is always going to be there, regardless of how you look at it or not. But where you go from here to where you're trying to be is going to be the big key. Like I said, it's always going to be something that's trying to pull you to the left, but you got to steer straight back to the straight forward and keep going forward. But for me, it was friends. It was trying to go out to the club every night, knowing I got to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, knowing I got a work phone that rings 24/7. So I had to pick and choose, do I want to be the person that flounders the business, or do I want to be the person that elevates the business? So I had to separate what I wanted to do, and then I had to put into place for what the business needed to be successful.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. So, thanks, John.
I'd like to answer that as a painter. In a union apprenticeship, you know who you're gonna be when you graduate. So your focus should be on the prize, which is finishing your apprenticeship program. I left a job where I was making $12 an hour back in 1996 to take a job as a pre-apprentice painter, making $6.45 an hour. The reason why I took that step backwards and gave up my apartment and moved in with my grandmother was because I knew in 4 years I was going to be way better off than building swimming pools for another 20 years. So my focus was on my future, which wasn't a guess. I knew where I was going to end up if I put in the work. So that would be the best answer I could say is look at your future in a union apprenticeship, Department of Labor Registered Apprenticeship Program. You can know where you're going to be in 4 years. There's no question. It only gets better every year after that. So that would be my answer.
Absolutely. Look long term. All right, another question?
All right, hello, my name is Aaliyah Travis, and this question is just more for the panel. So, what piece of advice would you give people, like genuine people, how you brought up, painters, messy, you brought gloves, like something that will help prepare us for actually going out into the field?
Well, we're going to show you how to do our trade and how to protect yourself first and foremost. The most important thing about what we do is safety. It doesn't matter how good you are, how fast you are, you get sick or die. And in all these trades that we have, there's an inherent risk to all of them. You know, you can cut yourself in culinary, get sick with paint fumes or whatever you're doing. So we're going to show you how to safely work with the products. We're going to show you how to protect yourself with PPE. And there's a way you can do this trade and do it safely without getting stuff on you or getting messy. You know, there's some things where there's going to be some days where you're going to get some dust and stuff like that. But, you know, it's nothing that's going to affect your health or your career if you follow the correct PPE procedures. Did that answer your question?
More so like, yeah, this place is preparing us for the workplace, but another workplace is way different from this place, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, again, just to reiterate what everybody's saying, the best piece of advice for preparing yourself is having a positive attitude. And eager to learn, good work ethic. There's nothing more that you can do but that. You go into a job, try to learn, ask questions. Again, find your mentor. If you don't have one locally around you all, your instructors are your mentor. Reach out to them. I'm pretty sure they'll answer a phone call. But just being prepared is just being ready to work, eager to learn, showing up on time, doing the job, going home, coming back with that same positive attitude. No matter what kind of day you have, just try to think positive. Just try to be focused on your career path and what you want.
And I just like to say, definitely have an open mind. You have to be open-minded because what you may think the job entails of what we show you here, when you get out in the field, it is going to look totally different, and you're going to be standing there like a deer in headlights, confused. But if you're working with a good team, you're working with a good journey person that's going to show you how they do things on the job, you'll be fine. But you definitely want to make sure you have an open mind so that you don't block some of the things that you can learn. So of course, we show you the apprenticeship way, the right way to do things, and there are ways of doing things to pick up bad habits, and then you can teach the journey person like that's not the way you do things anymore, but still just have that open mind, and be very receptive to constructive criticism.
Thank you.
I want to add to you, listen to everybody. Write a vision read your vision board and mission statement. What helped for me is when I got into places that I wasn't familiar with, I would look at my vision board and it kept me focused on where I was going. Always. Because people gonna have their ideas, have their thoughts, how you should do it. Everybody got their own leadership method and method of delivery, but you have your vision and your plan. And I took a picture of my phone. But when I get confused, I look at it and then you gotta go track.
Union jobs create middle class families. I said union jobs create middle class families. Remember that.
Hey everybody, I'm Paul Capone. I'm gonna be the first doctor who part-times at the SoundCloud rapper. That's my goal. I'm here to ask a more specific question. My bad, I'm not doing mics. I have a more specific question. Would it be better for somebody that you're hiring to have multiple unrelated trades or multiple trades under the same branch? Like I'm in pharmacy tech, but I want to do CNA and I want to get my LPN, right? Would it be better for me to have all three of those, or would I be better off having part carpentry and cooking and all of that?
I'm gonna say a lot of experience and a lot of different things. So know a little bit about a lot of different things, because when you get on a job, it sounds like I just said, you might end up doing 2 or 3 different things. So learn everything that you can and be willing to work in every area that you can.
I'll add on to that too as well with her. As a partner, I've done concrete work. I worked on bridges. I worked on structures. I put in ceiling tile. I've hung drywall. I don't like drywall. Frame houses. So having we like to say toolbox, having tools in your toolbox is always a good positive thing, because when you need to reach back and grab that skill set in this moment, you've got it.
My name is William Miller, and this is more a question for like painting, culinary, and architecture. When going into the workplace and the work field, is creativity something that you guys like look for, like just like individuality? Like, can you put your own like creative input into stuff, into projects you're working on? Because when I do something I'm very passionate about, and I like to put myself, especially in my art, and so would that be something that you want to do, especially to a country, to a company or like someone or a business or like cooking or baking, anything like that?
I would say absolutely. You have to be a creative to do anything that you do. Paint, makeup, buildings, drywall. You have to exercise creativity in everything that you do. Have you seen Ace of Cakes? He was a carpenter. But the reason that I said that I'm at 6 figures, but the reason that he's at 7 figures making cakes is because he's a creative, because he can make a cake that has a spaceship in it and that spaceship actually flies. He can do cakewalks the same way. They can take a lot of different materials to make something that we think is traditional, and they can only do that because they're creative. So you want to make $1 million or $100,000. The creativity is the difference.
I will also say, if you look around, or in the culinary department, or anything, but if you look at a lot of artists, the ones who have their own identity stands out. Everybody else gets lost in the sauce. So as a culinary individual or any other skill or trade, I encourage you to put you in your work, because you can't do what I do. I can't do what you do. Nor can I see what you can see your background. So do not be afraid to mess up during the apprenticeship. That's how you learn.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. So in all these businesses and trades, there is a certain way to do certain things, and there's going to be an expectation that you do it a certain way. But that doesn't mean, we're stifling creativity, because we want you to have that thought. We always want to be thinking of continuous improvement, different ways, innovations along the way. And actually there, in our company, it's encouraged. So there are different avenues. If you're out there doing the job and you think there's another way you could do it, or this could help, there are channels directly to engineering groups that will work with you to try to develop your ideas into something. And if we didn't have creativity, we wouldn't have just put a rocket right up into space and the furthest astronauts have been. And you don't have that unless you have creativity. But you're not going to go in day one and thinking you're going to do it better than what I was saying.
That's good.
Get your feet wet, see what's going on. And if you have a good idea, bring it up. Anybody in a leadership role would be happy to hear any kind of idea that could improve on what you're doing.
I'll finish that question out with a little bit of extra spice on it. As carpentry goes, we start off in an open field where there's nothing.
You gotta have imagination.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we'll be wrapping it up for the last few questions because we're preparing lunch for you all, so that'll be ready here shortly. So next question.
My name is Ian Griffin. I have more of a personal question. By the way, I like table tennis and the name tags. Whoever made it did a wonderful job. It was more of a personal question. If you guys had lost everything like today and had to start from zero, what skills that you've learned over the course of your career would help you start your life over?
Right. Every last one of them.
All of them.
That's a good
The
answer.
thing about having a trade, we're able to go anywhere in the world and work. Like, you can be your own boss. And you don't, it doesn't matter. If the economy crashed today, I'll barter my services. I'll find a way to make sure that I'm able to eat. If she cooks and she needs me to come and fix something at her house, I'm gonna use my skills and I'm gonna barter my services. She'll cook for me and I'll come and repair whatever she needs.
Every day.
So that's one thing we have to understand, how things used to work before money was valuable as it is now. We bartered our services, we bartered our skills, we traded off. So everything that you learned, everything you own, you mastered, all of those things will allow you to still survive.
For me, I'm just going to say this. Living experience. When I first came to St. Louis, I came with a history living in Israel, family and everything. When I got here, I had nobody. I lost everything. I literally was homeless in my car. And this is attitude is important. And this is when you know where you gotta go. Is because
You can take everything from me today, and I can do it again tomorrow because it's in me. I lost a restaurant, pandemic came. I lost a car, I was homeless, but now I own the bed and breakfast. And if I lose that, I'm gonna get another one. But it's all up into you, what you tell yourself and where you want to go. Nobody should stop you if you lose anything.
I want to put y'all back off my right here. A couple years ago, I lost everything: cars, the crib, houses, everything. Like from my training, from being a security aspect, even just dipping and diving into being part of like carpentry or doing painting or painting drywall, plumbing, anything like that. I poured all that together just to dig myself out of what I put myself in. So it's always good to have more than one hustle, more than one trade, more than just one thing under your belt. So when I say I lost it all, I was down to the nitty-gritty. I didn't have nothing. So you can really imagine, and I got to support 2 kids. So once I lost it all, I used what I learned from security training, from doing the CPR training, from doing just side jobs, from carpentry and painting and stuff like that, and I built it back up. But it's a learning experience and it's a learning curve to the word that I won't go back to that point again.
So if anyone else has any questions, you are more than welcome to, when you're going through the tour after lunch, you are more than welcome to ask any of those questions to our panelists, okay? All right, to our last 2 questions.
Hello, folks. My name is Lorenzo, and I have 2 questions. All grown up, we lost and we gained and we learned from mistakes. So my question is, say you had a clean slate, and if you had a chance to do it all over again, would you?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you mean clean slate? What do you mean by clean
You
slate?
like restart from scratch.
I would,
You already seen everything that you lost. You already seen everything you learned. You lost people. You gained more people. My question is, and would you continue on your path right now?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you can't be afraid to start over. You can't be afraid, because if you have a fear of starting over, you'll never get nowhere.
Nope.
If you have a care of what someone think about you, you will never get nowhere. So again, at the end of the day, it all determines what you want inside of you. And you're actually in a good space because you're learning a trade that you can go anywhere in the world and you can do that trade anywhere.
And we're not starting over from scratch. We're starting over from experience.
Yes.
So I would not trade anything for that. But yep, over and over and over again, I'll close it and walk away and rebuild it again.
And you can't be afraid to walk away when it's not benefiting you or your family.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, everybody, as you go through life, you're going to get to a point where there are hundreds of things you wish you would have did differently along the way. But with that said, there's probably another 100 things that you would never want to give up in your life, regardless of where you are. I think everybody would have done something differently along the way, but wanting to give everything up and start back over, it's hindsight, right? You're still going to have to go. Even if you did that, it doesn't mean if you changed all those things, something else wouldn't have happened along.
I say you can't have success without some sort of failure. So mistakes is prevalent. You're gonna make mistakes along the way, but the key thing is, are you gonna learn from those mistakes? For it to kind of answer the question, to drop everything and just kind of start over and thinking that I expect a different outcome. For me, it's about the journey. And the journey is what builds character and what builds the attitude that you want to take on to your next task. It's never going to be easy. And it's very hard. Don't get me wrong, it's very hard. Like I said before, when you want to path to success and greatness, it's always something that's going to try to pull you directly to the left. But it's your job and your focus to straight and narrow. So to answer your question, if I had to do it all over again, I'll probably do it the same way because it made me who I am today and made me plant my feet directly to the ground to get to where I'm at right about here, right now.
All right, so we can go into our last question.
My name is Adrian Henderson, and my question is, was there any hesitation or like second guessing when it came to choosing our careers?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
How did y'all get over it?
You don't.
How did y'all make it go?
You never get over it. That's right. So they can hear you. You never get over it. You're always, I'm sitting here listening to all of these people today. I make cakes. I said, you see me rubbing my hands because arthritis has happened, but I was listening to people saying they were bricklayers and painters, and I'm trying to figure out, is that the career path for me? I never stopped questioning. I'm just sure in what I had. But yeah, I would do it 5 or 6 different things if I could.
I just had a closing where the buyer couldn't buy the house. They up closing, and I doubted, what? I don't know how to collect $7 grand. I just felt roaming over there, got all paid into tuition, but at the end of the day, I know what I love. I might soar in the sky, I might say I want to be a Lamborghini driver or a Boeing worker or a company, but I know what makes me sing at the end of the day. I'm confident and I'm sure of that. Regardless where I go, I might get excited, but I'm coming home because this is where I thrive. So for you, get that vision, get that mission, get that who you are, and then trust that.
For me, I fell into this trade. Like I said, I moved here. I went to tech school and got into the trade. But I like the ever changing of what I do. Every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every hour, every day, I come back to a different place that wasn't the same when I left it. The weather's different. Everybody's attitude is different. So it's always evolving, it's always changing. And it's just been a great thing for me not to have to go to the same office, same box, and do the same thing every day. I'm always building and adding on to what I started the day before.
I'll be completely honest. I would have never thought I would ever been even close to some type of law enforcement, security, or anything. Like when I said before, when I turned 21, I walked away. I always used to have this vision of just you a rent a cop or something like that. I just had this aspect about I ain't no snitch, I ain't gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. I have grown to love the feeling. Somebody say, you just a security guard. Well, I got a flashlight, I gotta shine somebody, down like Friday. So I've grown to love this feeling because it took me places to where that I never thought I could be, from traveling from on one side of the country to going to another side of the country. So basically what I'm really saying is I think this field kind of chose me, and I just follow in the footsteps of the legacy that was built for me to take over. That's kind of where I'm at with the things that I'm doing. Like I said, I would have never thought that I would have been in the position that I am now. Even though that this is a family business, I started from the bottom, had to work my way all the way up to the top just to be a COO. And you can imagine the work that has been put in. But as far as this field, I would have never imagined that it took me to different states, meet different people, having a rapport with so many other people, even like the lady from City Ties, we have did security for her before. Security for like Michael Blackson, things like that. Popular rock bands will come and sing it. I would have never thought that this would have took me to the level that I am at right about now.
So the question was second guessing your career. I would say for me, that's human nature to do that. But for me, learning how to set goals. So my first goal was to be successful in the apprenticeship program. And then the next goal was to learn how to hang wallpaper or do decorative painting or get my associate's degree or move into training. So I think the way that not doing yourself and second guessing your career is, first of all, know where you want to end up. Set a target, set a goal, and then work toward that, and then continue to keep working towards progressive goals after that. And you will continue to succeed in life and move up and the things that come with it, money and benefits, all go together.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, students, for your questions. I really appreciate that. Please think of more questions after lunch. But before we end, we have one more guest. She is Bonnie from HBI. Bonnie, can you hear us?
I can. Hello, everyone. Okay. I'm going to assume that you can. I get that notification from Mr. Joe that you can't hear me, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Bonnie with the Agricultural Institute, and we have the BCT program there at our center. Love Lakewood, and a wonderful program for us. I just have a couple of things that I wanted to share with you about the apprenticeships and how we API has been partnering with apprenticeships for a while, that we've had. And I know that we have mixed audiences and employers in there as well as students. We have built it out for a little bit of everything for everyone. And I definitely encourage all the students to talk to any of the apprenticeship programs or employer sponsors that we have in our audience today to get detailed information for their students apprenticeships, because all of them are just slightly different. So do your due diligence and your research to be sure that you have all the answers before you jump into this career path. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I've got a presentation here, it's real short. I'm going to talk back. Y'all are hungry and ready for lunch. So I will share my screen. All right. I'm hoping everybody can share the screen or see the screen here. Home Builders Institute is what API stands for. We build careers for July, right alongside with our wonderful partner, Job Corps. For those who haven't invested yet with those employers, here's our graduate pool. We're volunteer programs 18 to 24 years old. All demographics, which is awesome, and we definitely specialize in students who excel in hands-on learning environments. One of the coolest things, which I'm not sure if students even realize, is one of the only programs that have live on campus availability, and it's a really neat opportunity for those who get a chance to do it. The Job Corps HBI services that we partner together with are extensive, and hopefully you're all taking advantage of that. I know you can gather all of those employability items that you need, the diplomas, driver's license, even housing, including food, the career services, counseling, healthcare, but more on that hard skill side of things. The employability training HBI does provide some of that as well as job work. Obviously, we have the trades training. The work-based learning piece is essential for you all to get out there and understand how the workforce is modeled. And obviously, you're going to get for our trades program at issue 10 and 30. Not every trade on center is going to do that, but our hard hat trades are definitely doing that. The 30 is more going to be in our advanced trainings that you would end up getting that. The coolest thing that I love is that our trades trainers, our instructors, have been in the trade field. So you're going to get that mentorship by your trades professional. When we're talking about apprenticeships here, the HBI model is going to be a pre-apprenticeship model. So what does that mean to you as a student? Pre-apprenticeship is a program or set of strategies designed to prepare an individual for entrance into an apprenticeship program or a RAP, registered apprenticeship. The neat thing about the model that we teach is it's going to mimic a lot of what that apprenticeship, the structure that apprenticeship has. So it will be familiar to you in completion of your trades training. And even if you're not in the HBI program, all of the other programs, the hard hat trade programs on there are going to model that as well. So it will feel familiar when you get into that apprenticeship program. And I'm sure you've learned a little bit about those apprenticeships by now, but our goal in HBI is to connect our pre-apprenticeship skilled graduates with sponsor members of long-term careers in an apprenticeship opportunity. That's our goal. We are a pre-apprenticeship, which means before apprenticeship. That's going to be our end goal there. We've got a lot of trades across the nation. Obviously, you have our BCT there on center. But we also offer electrical wiring for those interested in advanced electrical wiring. We also have VCT, the HVAC. We also have advanced HVAC. We do landscaping as well. Plumbing, advanced plumbing, solar, and we have an advanced solar. So it's a pretty big program there. What we're looking at as far as the training part of things is we've got the safety tools, trade map, measurements, blueprints, all of that comes 360 hours. It's going to be in our core part, our training achievement record. And then for the specialty, which is what our trade training is, there is going to be another additional 666 hours of specialty training in the facility maintenance field. That's 1,020 hours of trades training, which is an incredible amount of training. Everybody who's doing your training right now, if you think about it in those hours, it's an investment that you've already invested in yourselves by being a part of the Job Corps and Trades program, which then leads into the career. So your training model for HBI is going to be 20% is the goal to be in the book or the classroom model, and then 80% hands-on. We really love you guys to get in there and use your hands to learn that stuff. Now, the apprenticeship side of things. We do a lot of working across the nation to try and get apprenticeship opportunities in front of you. But you always wonder what's in it for you. And obviously, every little guy here is going to have some money raised down, but you're going to learn skills in an apprenticeship. It's going to be an earned salary while you're learning those skills. You will be independent. You're going to have wages that will actually be a family-sustaining wage, which is something that we strive for every one of you. Your career path will be clear. Once you've selected it, you will be able to go into it, learn it, become a professional, or we call them subject matter experts in it, hopefully through the training that's provided in your apprenticeship and your open opportunities. Credentials. Everybody in the trade right now has credentials that you're earning. Not much different from the apprenticeship model too. You're going to get a national credential when you've completed an apprenticeship. And what does that mean to you? That means to you that you can take that with you. So if you decide that you would like to transition from the St. Louis area or wherever you're from to a different part of the country, that credential will transfer with you. You may need to learn some site-specific stuff, some codes, things like that that are specific to the area that you're in, but you're not going to have to start all over again if you complete an apprenticeship program and relocate. A really neat option. You're also going to get retirement earnings. The advanced or structured training is always a big deal. You don't know you like structure until you have it, and then everybody likes structure. You know exactly what's expected of you in order for you to advance. You'll get your life, dental, health care, competitive salary, paid vacation, earn college credits in some cases. Those are good questions to ask your sponsor employers or your apprenticeship. What type of benefits do I get with this when I'm completing it? Some of the HBS incentives here we're really proud of is in the 24-25 program year, we had 252 apprenticeship placements across the nation. And then in the 23-24 years, we had 243. So it kind of stayed a little bit steady there for us, but that's quite a few apprentices we put out into the nation. And if we're looking at how many of you all actually got into employment after your trades training, there's some numbers there for that too. And we're really proud of that. And longevity is something that we're seeing pretty strong too. So one of the things that's asked a lot by employers is how much does HBI charge for career services? And hopefully Job Corps is doing a good job explaining that it is not, doesn't cost you anything to hire one of our graduates. And then who do you contact? You get the contact cards there in the center. For your students here, the expectation is once you complete your trade is to get something within your trade. That's what we're looking for, and that's why these types of big events have been put on for you. Hopefully, I have met the mark. Do you have any questions about HBI or HBI's pipeline into apprenticeships?
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you very much. We appreciate you All right, thank you, everyone. Let me tell you what your schedule is. Hold on before you jump up and leave. Hold on before you jump up and leave. Okay. What your schedule? Hold on. So what we're gonna do, not that it is over. Lunch is waiting on you in the cafeteria. After lunch, you will come back. You will have everyone that presented to you here will be here for any additional questions that you have. They'll be set up at your tables. Some of you have set up. Please make sure you touch each one of these tables. For our guests and our trade instructors, your lunch is in the arts and crafts room. There you need to dine in the multi-purpose room, but the expectation for students is that you are back here by 12:45. All right, so come back here at 12:45. Any other